Sup? It's my first time going live. Obviously, I look a little crazy. I wasn't really expecting to go live. I got the crazy glasses on. Um, I'm really not expecting anybody to be here. I guess I just wanted to start off by just speaking my mind. And one of the things that I guess I really want to talk about is, YouTubers in general. Um, I feel like for a lot of YouTubers, based off what I've seen, you know, um, I don't want to name any specific names, but they got two sides to them. They're kind of brutal, and a lot of people they just trying to build off and continue to create, build off what they've continued to create, and they end up I, by doing that, some of them do it so aggressively they end up, kind of stepping on the little guy, walking over the little guy, not, and that's from forgetting, about their own humble beginnings and where the fuck they came from. Everybody started off small at some point. Everybody started off somewhere. Um, Another thing that I see is debates. I mean, a lot of these what you would call YouTube debates are barely even fucking debates these days because what I've come to come to observe is that most of these debates, the guy who's got the platform, the YouTuber, he's kind of steamrolling over you know his opposition and um and they have several ways of steamrolling over their opposition. And one of the ways that they steamroll over their opposition is by not allowing the other person to talk, not allowing the other person to get a word in. And what they'll do is they'll either talk over you, and of course it's easier for them to talk over you because they have a mic, a headset, a piece, headpiece, they got something where they're just more audibly clear versus the guy who's probably on his laptop like me or on his phone. So, by default, they're going to be a lot louder than, the person they're debating. Or the other method, whereas they try to clown you. I don't want to name any names, but they play, music or something over, you know, uh, something over you while you're talking. And I don't think it's a sign of intelligence. I think it's more of a sign of cowardice, if I'm being completely honest. I think it's a sign of cowardice. And it's something that I see typically done when either the debate has kind of either met a stalemate or the YouTuber with the platform is actually losing the debate. It's one or the other. And I find it peculiar because, these are people who, obviously have certain viewpoints, particular viewpoints that, of course, not everybody's in agreement with, but uh, they're pro, like, for the most part, from my understanding, they're pro the First Amendment. So they're pro free speech and having the ability to say what you want. And I think they even kind of go against the grain a little bit with YouTube and its policies because they feel restricted, almost oppressed in having the ability to say what they truly want to say, rather it's political or dogmatic. Uh, and so now you have somebody who's not echoing something you want to say, and you have to find clever and creative and humorous ways to shut them the f up. And these are probably people who don't have YouTube channels, right? But they'll make it known that to them, you know, you're just a speck. You're a nobody. They'll say word for word, because I've just listened to it in a live recently. Not with me, of course, But word for word, you're never going to make it. You're never going to go anywhere. Okay, this is somebody with a platform. He's got I would say a good amount of subscribers. Not a whole lot, but a good amount, a fair amount. Of course, more than the person he's debating, but he's got to make that known. He's got to belittle you and make you feel small. For what? I don't call that entertainment. They call it entertainment. I don't call it entertainment. I barely find it fucking humorous. If I'm being completely honest with you. I barely find it fucking humorous. Whoever's entertained by ish like that is an a-hole. Let me tell you why. Because during this debate, the YouTuber, of course, with the bigger platform, is calling the person out their name, cussing. I'm not going to say the exact words, but they was going in. Now, did the other person start or prompted the YouTuber with the platform to kind of go off? Yes. Was he justified in his feelings? Yes. But his actions were still unnecessary because they had gone, instead of like, the homeboy just went from 1 to a 10 real quick. But it was just the way, the style. There was no grace. Everything was completely abrasive. And I get this whole being an alpha male thing. Like, I get it. I really do get it. But there's aggressive and then there's assertive. You can still be an alpha male without being aggressive by being assertive and getting what you want ultimately out of people with positive results. One that doesn't lead to arguing, one that doesn't lead to bickering, insults, ridicule, belittling. I just had to talk about it. Listen, I know right now I got a zero count. I know 0 people as of right now are not listening. But it ain't about that. It's more about the fact that I needed to get this motherfucking shit off my chest. Because that's some grade A BS. Now, did I ever have problems with this YouTuber as far as disagreements or anything like that? Never. Actually, I was real cool with dude. Up until today. I had a personal discrepancy that I'm not going to talk about. Because this isn't really something that was... My issue that's being brought forth isn't about me and that particular individual. It's more about how he handled someone else on a live. And to me, it wasn't even a debate. The conversation started off chill, laughing. Now, guaranteed, I know that the other individual who was debating on the platform, or let's just say getting screamed at one point on the platform. They were doing screaming too, but this person is highly annoying. Okay, sometimes in life we're going to deal with highly annoying people. Very talkative and not willing to listen. At the same time that this person's talkative, they're not willing to listen to anything you got to say. But we got to be better than that. We have to have more tactful ways. I mean, if you're anything over 30, in my personal opinion, we got to have more tactful ways of coming to an agreement, a conclusion, without setting it off. Not everything, you don't always got to burn the forest down to find your way to the mountains. Sometimes there's other ways that you can get through the forest. You could take a plane. You can go underground. You could take a stream and a little Nile that'll get you there faster. There's other alternatives to reach a conclusion, is my point. And sometimes when we take more of that aggressive route, I just don't think it's a good look, fam. Especially if you're trying to build your following, you're trying to grow. And rather these people are annoying or not, they're still your motherfucking fans. Especially if you're not like a big YouTuber. And I said this before, I said this before, I'll say it again. When you're not a big YouTuber, those aren't your friends. I mean, your fans. Those are your circle of friends. They're your circle of friends. When you're not big and there's people coming on to show you love and support, and you small, and you got about 10, maybe tops 20 people in your life, guess what, fam? Those aren't your fans. Those are your circle of friends. They're not your fans. They are more or less your foundation before you actually for you to build upon. All right, because I done put people on the Homie Live. I done put people on. I done told people, hey, check them out. Then he on live acting a damn fool. And they looking at me like, oh, that's what you like? Not understanding, of course, he's not a representation of me. Maybe in some aspects. But he not looking at the bigger picture. And that's the thing. I see a lot of YouTubers on here always wanting to hold other people to account. They want them to have accountability, take ownership for the shit that they say on here. Other YouTubers trying to hold other YouTubers accountable, but then don't want to hold themselves accountable. But then would rather deflect. Talk about something else. Act like it never happened. And I'm not saying, listen, I know we live in a very sensitive society. And I'm not saying we should pander to the crybabies. Because a lot of people like to cry. What I'm saying is there's a better alternative means of communication. And you don't always have to come off like an a-hole. You don't always have to be aggressive in the style in which you choose to communicate. Because the best form of communication, in my opinion, for alpha male is assertive communication. You can say what you need to say without being rude. But no. We're not going to abide by that. We just going to call them B words or incels or femcells or whatever the fuck. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. And here's the thing with me, man. I already know if I go on somebody else's platform and say what I'm saying now, guess what? They talking over me. They screaming over me. They cut you off. They cut you out. A lot of times, they trip you up with questions. The same question. They have different means of trying to trip you up mentally so that they can weasel their way into having everyone believe that they've won the debate. But they didn't win the debate. Because they're not able to hone in to, in my opinion, into the intellectual factor that, to me, is probably a huge aspect of debating. Right? I thought a debate but supposed to demonstrate how civil we are as human beings. I seem to distinguish between arguments and debates where most people don't, but I do. As a matter of fact, I wish I could do. This is my first time going live. Let me see. Uh, I don't even know. Am I still live? I want to see. Type this in real quick. What's the? Sorry, bear with me. Difference. I cannot see with these sunglasses on. All right. So right here, because I just wanted to be able to pull it off Google, to be able to really give you, the kind of that Merriam's Webster definition, to show you the difference. And an argument is a disagreement between two or more people or parties, while a debate is a structured discussion that involves presenting arguments and counter arguments on a particular topic. Arguments tend to be more emotional and less structured, while debates tend to be more logical and structured. Nice. Nice. And you know what I have to say? When I listened to that live, I did notice there was a lot of emotion between both parties. And the person who had the platform was claiming, I'm not getting emotional. This is all entertainment. Hey man, if I'm screaming and calling somebody, the B word, I'm like, get the out of here. And there's a little bass in my voice when I say it. Hey, I'm mad. Well, I'm big mad. I'm big mad. So, you know, y- your words betray your actions. As soon as you say, oh, I ain't mad, I'll just for entertainment. But you sound emotional. I know you're emotional. You could lie to your audience, but I can see through the bull. I can see right through it. And you getting over emotional causes the other person to get over emotional. And then where does that lead to? Instead of a debate, now we have an argument. We stop using our words. I like to come on YouTube, and the reason why I have an issue with this is because I like to come on YouTube and have insight, gain insight, learn, realize, or even see if there's other people who are echoing my sentiments, because maybe I'm looking at something in society and I'm going, oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't hear anybody else saying this. I don't see anything on the news. I don't see the news saying this. Let me go on YouTube. Let me go on YouTube and see if anybody's talking about that. I mean, of course, I do all that with a level of discernment. You don't just want to go on and buy into whatever, content creators are selling you. You want to be able to distinguish between facts and what isn't reality. But I digress, because I think I said most of what I needed to get off my chest. Of course, I'm not at my best. You know, uh, Sunglasses are kind of, these are Dollar Tree sunglasses. All right, it's mainly for the light. Light bothers my freaking eyes, but that's a whole nother story. Perhaps for a whole nother live. Thank you for, whoever tunes into this later. Really, this was for me. This is for me. This is something that I felt like I want to put out there. It's out there. It's out there for public consumption. But ultimately, this is for me. I want to start putting more content out on my YouTube. I'm not expecting it to go anywhere, to make any kind of an impact whatsoever. But I just feel like I need something else other than the other type of social media platforms that I have. I mean, I'm not really tech savvy. I'm not really a Twitch guy. I play video games, but I'm not really the Twitch guy. I'm not the live stream guy. I make do with what I got. That's me. Trying to make a rocket ship out of scrap parts. Y'all be easy. Silver Fox out.
Silver!